Welcome back to the sculpture, guys. Today I am going to be adding some more details on this one. I am trying to finish this up as soon as possible and move on to my next sculpture. I want to remove a little bit of the base because I don't like the bases to be too large. Guys, that is the end of the standing figure sculpture, and if you look around, there's a couple of things I want to show you. The reason I put that there is to help the drying of the clay, because this leg, it's got a negative shape in here. This is standing without an armature, so keep that in mind. That's why there's a couple of things like at the bottom that I wish I could have done, but you're kind of playing around with the dryness of the clay. Right now, it's kind of hard. It's not leather hard yet, but eventually it's going to become leather hard. That's when like it's really just on the surface that's wet. And this is grog clay. So grog clay, that's low fire. It dries a little bit quicker. It also helps the shrinkage. So if you use water-based clay, this is a really good one because it helps the firing process as well and the shrinkage. It doesn't shrink as much. So I put this here just to help out the drying process. I can remove it very easily. And if you look here, I put a tree stump. So generally that's something you could do. I was thinking about having a piece of drapery coming from his hands, and then it would be the support. And I could make this just a little bit smaller if I wanted, but I decided to keep it this size. This is just another support because it is so tall and it's heavier on this side. So as it's drying, I don't want it to start moving this way. So that's why I put this here. Right now it is supporting itself. So, you know, these standing sculptures in water-based clay, they're just so much more difficult to do because it requires a lot of engineering. When you have to engineer something like this, you can't make it as dynamic as you would want. But if you look at my YouTube channel, you'll see a figure standing that I did, and it was fairly big. I believe it's like this big, and it weighs quite a bit, and I managed to fire it and nothing broke on it. So water-based clay is very flexible in that way if you don't want to put an armature inside. There are artists that put armatures inside and then they slice it all out. To me, that's not really that important. I would rather have something like this. A simple contrapposto like this is very easy to do, but if you start like doing dynamic poses where the torso is kind of moving forward, you're going to have a little bit of an issue. Also keep in mind that these take quite a bit of time and you have to let it dry as you are sculpting, but that's something that happens naturally anyway with the clay. It just kind of dries out. But that's pretty much it. The next step on these sculptures I'm not even going to hollow out the inside because if you look at it, it's really not that big and it's also not that thick. So I think this actually will fire very easily in the kiln. I could have added a little bit more detail, and I still might, to the hands, but I wanted to keep them a little bit more abstract. The tree stump, you can add a little bit more detail. I'll probably do that before I fire it. But I think it's a pretty successful sculpture. I just have to let it dry for a few days. So the process is that you sculpt it, you hollow it out, and then you air dry it, like put it in a room and just let it dry. The one thing you have to keep in mind is that when this dries, I'll take the stump out, I'll lift it out of the base, and I'll put it in probably a little bit lifted up so air can get underneath as well. And then you let that dry for about a week, and then it's ready to put in the kiln. But that's pretty much it. We'll be starting a new sculpture pretty soon, so if you have any ideas for future sculptures, post up in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys would like to see on the channel, and I'm always interested in doing various things. So thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, it really helps the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.